comes to teaching comprehension, much of the reading block or ELA class period is spent reading texts with students, asking them comprehension questions, and guiding readers to infer the answers. And all of this mirrors a basketball coach leading a practice, calling the plays, and fine-tuning the kids' execution of them. And while a large portion of the basketball season is spent practicing and scrimmaging, before a coach can call a particular play, it must be taught. Similarly, before the teacher can ask a specific comprehension question, she must first teach the thinking. Hello, I'm Christina Smeckens, creator and author of the Comprehension Playbook. This 20-minute video will provide a comprehensive overview of the Playbook's purpose, how it meets the college and career-ready comprehension standards, how to utilize the print and digital resources, how it fits within the reading block and ELA class period, and how it works with a district curriculum map. Just because the class is reading together doesn't mean they're engaged in a direct instruction lesson. A whole class comprehension lesson is 20 minutes. It is I do, you watch and listen. It is when the coach does the work without any help from the players. Within a whole class comprehension lesson, the teacher reads the text aloud and independently. The teacher breaks down the steps in slow motion. The teacher executes the comprehension skill. And the students, they watch and listen to their teacher, their coach. What is labeled as a lesson in many reading resources includes a paragraph or two that defines the target skill, but not how to break it down in a concrete and visible manner. These resources expect the teacher to know how to do this, but for many educators, that was never taught to them. Compare this to shooting a free throw. Reading a paragraph or two that defines what a free throw is, when it's shot in a ball game, and how many points it's worth is helpful. But that's not going to help players master shooting one. The coach has to hold the ball and talk the team through what he is doing, thinking, seeing, and feeling the entire time he models shooting a free throw. That is an I do. That's explicit teaching. And yet, as imperative as this facet is in the learning process, it's often a missing element in adopted resources. These curricular tools tell educators what skill to teach and provide lots of texts and questions to practice it. But comprehension coaches need their own playbook that outlines how to teach reader thinking in daily 20-minute whole class lessons. And that's what's in the Comprehension Playbook. Every grade level will teach 5 to 7 comprehension plays, each detailed within its own cardstock foldout. The cover of each play specifies the Common Core standards for literature and informational text that are addressed. And since the college and career-ready expectations are similar across states, teachers can find the corresponding language within their own standards. Many plays incorporate several comprehension standards, demonstrating how they're integrated and related. This way, rather than tackling 20 separate standards in 20 isolated comprehension skills, the teacher focuses on 5 to 7 plays that dovetail and build on one another. The grade ranges noted on each play vary, and this again is due to the grade level standards. When consecutive grade levels have similar skill requirements, they share a play. For instance, there are some comprehension skills where second grade is more like first, and yet others where second grade is more like third. The standards determine the grade level ranges per play. Inside each play is a step-by-step progression for teaching the skill across the year. This is the information that transforms a typical teacher example into a 20-minute comprehension lesson. This is the information that extends the skill used in one text to the skill's application with any text. This is the difference between simply doing reading and actually teaching reading. The instructional points provided within a play take abstract concepts and distill them into explicit steps. Each play details how that comprehension skill works, revealing what text details a reader should look for, where in the text to look for them, when they are applicable in the reading process, why a reader needs to know this, and how to execute this thinking. So much of this information was never revealed to us. We know what main idea is, but maybe not which details imply what a text is mostly about. We know what theme is, but maybe not where to look for the text evidence to support it. We know what character perspective is, but maybe not how authors hint at it. This is why every reading teacher needs a comprehension playbook. When diving into a comprehension play, first view the year-long skill overview found on the Digital Resources website. This detailed video walks through the multiple weeks or rounds of a single grade-specific play. It explains the relationship among standards taught within it. It provides the rationale behind the sequence and rollout of subskills. And since there's limited space on the physical foldout, these overview videos clarify the many nuances of a comprehension play. Year-long plays are broken into weeks or rounds. This mirrors how a basketball coach would reveal a new offensive play to his team. First, he teaches the basic play, how it works and who goes where. Then, when the athletes are comfortable with the original version, the coach adds options and alternatives. How the play works off an inbounds pass from the sideline versus the baseline, or off a fast break. These additional layers create more versatility and complexity. This approach is how the panels of each comprehension play are set up as well. Consider each panel as a layer of sophistication. After readers are familiar with the facets of round one, the comprehension coach spirals through the skill again, adding the next piece of grade-level complexity. Each round is approximately a week. Some rounds contain 4 or 5 days of whole class lessons, while other rounds need 6 or 7 whole class lessons. Of course, this is suggested pacing. The teacher may move more quickly or need to slow down. As a round winds down, it concludes with a 20-minute Write About Reading lesson. The week has been spent teaching thinking, inferring, and voicing the answers for a particular comprehension skill. And as valuable as that is, it's not enough. State and national tests assess reading through writing. Students have to articulate their inferences in constructed responses, extended responses, and complex performance tasks. Compare this to a basketball team's success. Imagine that the offensive play has been taught, and it's game day. Team members are running, screening, cutting, all to get open. They pass, pick, roll, and pass again. They do this over and over. They can run the play. But if it doesn't end with a shot attempt, then all that work is for nothing. The same is true for building readers. Whole class reading instruction must include a weekly Write About Reading lesson. Teach students how to finish that comprehension play with a strong, grade-appropriate written response. The Reader's Write foldout and its overview video provide a scaffold of individual writing skills to teach at the end of each round. These skills are applicable to pictorial writers in the primary and to meet the game day or test day expectations in the upper grades. So after teaching the first round of a play and ending the week with a Write About Reading lesson, now what? It's possible to move on to round 2, but that's not the intention. Rather than revealing all the intricacies of a play in consecutive weeks, parcel it out in 3 or 4 separate chunks or rounds. Deliver the basics of the comprehension skill outlined in round 1. Then, give students opportunities to practice in scrimmage with only that thinking. Return to the original play several weeks later to layer the next piece revealed in round 2. This spiral approach honors developmental readiness in students. When teachers present too much information too quickly, many readers struggle to absorb all of it. However, providing some instruction in a mini lesson followed by lots of practice generates familiarity and confidence within the students. Then, with a solid understanding of that portion, it's time to raise the rigor and complexity of the skill. This spiral approach creates a new question: what order to teach the plays in? Each playbook comes with a corresponding comprehension roadmap. It's a suggested sequence of which rounds of what plays to teach when. This is found in the front pocket of the playbook. It's essentially a scope and sequence. For a thorough explanation of how to read the calendar and why the skills are ordered as they are, watch the grade-specific roadmap video located at the bottom of the Digital Resources homepage. For those teachers who are bound to a district curriculum map, the Comprehension Playbook is still applicable, using the index in the back pocket of the binder. When your curriculum map indicates it's time to teach a particular skill, the index identifies which play to find the lesson. And remember, whether it's my suggested calendar or a district one, these maps only reveal what to teach and when. It's the Comprehension Playbook that dissects how to teach these grade-level skills. Although each printed play includes a lot of information, there is a limit to what fits on a single panel. Consequently, there are numerous materials organized within the digital resources. The mouse icon serves as a reminder of what is available on the companion website, although the digital resources are constantly growing. So make time to peruse the website before teaching any play, as there are many more resources provided than the mouse icon indicates. To access the digital resources, follow the directions outlined on the first piece of paper snapped into the 3-ring binder. Each comprehension play has its own page and mirrors the same color scheme as the play itself. And the resources are organized by the smaller subskills noted in each round. Although teachers have a grade-specific binder, all K-12 digital resources for that same play are housed together. This allows teachers to differentiate higher or lower to meet their readers' unique needs. When scrolling through the digital resources, note that some are intended for the teacher. These may help her better understand the standard before delivering the lesson. Teacher resources include background on the skill in a downloadable PDF or short video explanation, dissected text excerpts that reveal the thinking in action, icons and graphics to make lessons more visual and concrete. In addition to teacher resources, there are also graphic organizers, Blackline Masters, and Google Docs that are intended for student use. Photocopy and/or share these with students to use when practicing after your direct instruction lesson. One of the more popular items on the website is the play-specific anchor charts. As skills are gradually taught to students across the rounds, additional pieces are attached to the year-long anchor chart. Print anchor chart items at full size to affix to large chart paper or at a smaller scale to fit on a board. Use paper, tape, and sticky notes or cardstock, laminator, and Velcro dots. There are even digital versions created in Google Slides. To access the different anchor charts, scroll below the year-long skill overview video per play. With a general understanding of the Comprehension Playbook, let's transition to where to start, and let's return to the basketball court. Before teaching any play, an athletic coach uses the preseason to work on fundamentals. He takes his players back to the basics, establishing and reviewing how to dribble, pass, and shoot. This is also true with comprehension instruction. Before teaching any standard, start with reader fundamentals. Strip down the complex reading process to its key components, the reading voice and the thinking voice, and how these work together to make inferences. Just like dribbling, passing, and shooting are part of every offensive play, every comprehension play will include making inferences using the reading voice and thinking voice. Consequently, these need to be taught before anything else. And just as preseason basketball conditioning goes for several weeks, so does the direct instruction on reader voices. This is not a lesson or two. It requires several lessons to teach how the reading voice reads print text, digital text, visual audio, and video text. It takes more lessons to establish the thinking voice, to vary its thoughts, and learn to annotate and record those thoughts. Then it takes even more lessons to teach readers how to move beyond a single text thought to inferring bigger ideas that the author implies. The Comprehension Playbook describes the first 20 days of whole class comprehension instruction. Note that this is not a play that you will spiral back through. These are fundamentals taught during the first 4 consecutive weeks. Knowing how to apply the reader voices is imperative, as they're utilized in every comprehension play taught across the rest of the year. So, the playbook provides lesson materials to teach grade-level comprehension skills in 20-minute, daily, whole class lessons. That is the purpose of the Comprehension Playbook. In other words, it does not address phonics, fluency, or vocabulary instruction. It does not address small group guided reading, independent tasks and stations, or interactive read-alouds. And it does not provide a year of grade-level texts with questions to ask and assessments to administer. The Comprehension Playbook only provides the instructional materials to plan and deliver whole class comprehension lessons. Let me say that again using the basketball analogy. Think of the entire reading block or ELA period as a team's 1 or 2 hour practice. Part of the time, the players execute well-known and familiar drills independently. They don't need much support from their coach. They just need time to practice and hone what they already know. Compare this to the resources you already have that provide texts and assignments. Kids execute these on their own, refining their skills independently. However, an entire ball practice isn't spent working independently, and neither should the reading block or ELA class. The newer plays, or those the team is struggling with, require the coach to be nearby and hands-on while the athletes try. This resembles the whole class text that you already have and read, like passages in the Basel, longer chapter books and novels, online articles and essays. The class practices newer comprehension skills while reading a common text with the teacher nearby, guiding them to comprehend and answer questions. Just like a coach who adjusts a player's stance or the angle of his arms, the teacher is right there to point to certain text details and provide a thinking stem. And the same hands-on and nearby support occurs when you're meeting with a small group, guiding them through differentiated texts that you already have. The Comprehension Playbook does not replace grade-level Basel, shared novel readings, meetings with small groups, or assigning kids independent reading tasks. All of these facets are part of the reading block and ELA class and are in the grade-level reading programs that you already have. You should be using these resources and providing these experiences. They are essential in order to gradually release from we do whole class practice to you do independent mastery. But remember, the kids can't execute a play or answer a comprehension question until they first observe the coach executing that skill in 20-minute I do lessons. And those are what is found in the Comprehension Playbook. If you would like more information about teaching whole class comprehension and/or the Comprehension Playbook, here are 3 options. Email me your specific questions. Watch the short video responses to frequently asked questions. And/or sign up to be a member of our Playbook Pro subscription program. And on that note, remember, Coach, you hold the ball first when teaching reading comprehension.